Welcome to the Frank Handyman Service channel. Here we share step-by-step our home repair, maintenance, and construction projects. If you're not yet subscribed, we invite you to do so and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. In this episode, we'll show you how we built an entire fence around a property, from digging the holes to the final installation of the boards. Today, we worked on a comprehensive project, the complete installation of a residential fence around a house. We started with the planning phase, which is essential to ensure a straight, symmetrical, and long-lasting result. The first step was placing stakes in each corner of the lot, and then stretching a guide string to serve as a straight line, marking the exact path for the posts. This line is our visual and functional reference, and the tighter it is, the greater accuracy we'll have when aligning the posts. We placed 2 stakes per corner to maintain the necessary tension and prevent the string from loosening due to movement. While this initial phase may seem simple, getting the alignment right from the beginning saves time on adjustments and corrections later on. A well-aligned string is the backbone of the entire fence. Once the layout was fully defined, we used spray paint to mark each spot where we would dig a hole. This visual guide simplifies the process and ensures consistent spacing between the posts, which is crucial for a sturdy and visually appealing structure. It's a good idea to double-check the markings before digging to make sure they haven't faded due to dust or moisture. Numbering each section can also help keep the workflow organized. We then moved into the excavation phase, undoubtedly one of the most physically demanding parts of the project. Using a metal bar, we began breaking up and loosening the soil at each marked point, then used digging shovels to remove the soil to a depth of approximately 2 feet per hole, which is the recommended depth to ensure stability. Every hole requires strength, technique, and patience. Depending on the terrain, this process can take more or less time. For especially tough soil, a manual auger or powered post hole digger can help. Practical tip: if this is your first time doing this kind of work, be sure to wear heavy-duty gloves. The friction from tools can cause painful blisters or even break the skin. Protecting your hands will allow you to work longer and more comfortably. Also, be sure to take short breaks and stay hydrated, especially if working under direct sunlight. As we dug, we encountered various soil conditions. In some areas, the ground was compact and dry, which slowed us down. In others, we found buried roots or even rotted wood, which presented additional challenges. When we ran into large roots, we needed to use axes or saws to cut through them, as standard shovels wouldn't do the job. Roots can also push a hole off-center, affecting post alignment. Several times we also hit old chunks of concrete, indicating that a previous fence had once stood there. In those cases, we used heavy hammers, chisels, and bars to break through and continue digging. It's crucial to inspect each hole before setting a post to make sure no debris remains that could affect its vertical alignment. Once all the holes were ready, we began setting the wooden posts, which should be pressure treated to resist moisture and time. We used 2 bags of concrete per post for a secure hold. The concrete was mixed directly in the hole, water was added, and then compacted using a metal rod to remove air bubbles and ensure a solid fill. This step requires patience and precision since it forms the foundation of the entire structure. We used a level to make sure each post was perfectly upright before the concrete began to set. This is critical for keeping the entire fence aligned and straight. It doesn't matter how well the rest of the pieces are cut. If the posts are crooked, the final result will look uneven. We also recommend rechecking the posts after about 10 minutes to make sure they haven't shifted while the concrete was curing. A string line between posts can help you spot any misalignment. With the posts securely in place, we moved on to installing the horizontal rails, commonly known as 2x4s, that span between each post and support the vertical pickets. These rails are typically installed in 2 or 3 rows, depending on the height of the fence. We carefully measured the spacing between posts, cut the boards using a power saw, and secured them with galvanized metal brackets to resist moisture. Getting these rails level and firm is crucial because they support the entire structure. Pro tip: always measure twice before cutting, even if you've already taken the measurement. Double-checking avoids wasting materials, especially around gates or angled corners. Having a helper to hold the boards in place while you fasten them also makes the job easier. When working alone, temporary clamps or braces can help keep things steady. Once the horizontal rails were installed, we used the soil we had removed earlier to backfill the holes and level the ground around the posts. This not only improves the project's appearance, but reinforces the concrete base, helping prevent future movement. For best results, backfill in layers and compact each one to avoid settling later. Now it was time to install the vertical pickets, which are the visible and defining elements of the fence. These are what provide privacy, enclosure, and design. We unloaded the boards and started at a strategic corner, typically the one most visible from the street. We used a 150 psi air compressor paired with a professional-grade staple gun to quickly fasten each board to the frame. This method speeds up the process without sacrificing precision and helps maintain workflow. To keep everything straight, we placed a horizontal guide board across the top to prevent uneven board height. This visual reference is extremely helpful for maintaining consistency and speeding up installation. A taut string line can also be used as a secondary visual aid. Using these tools ensures your fence looks straight and professionally built. Each board was measured, cut as needed, and checked with a bubble level to make sure it was perfectly vertical. This process was repeated along the entire perimeter. Though repetitive, taking time to get each picket right makes a huge difference in the final result. One poorly aligned board can throw off the symmetry and require you to redo entire sections. Visual tip: using a guide board across the top keeps everything straight and adds a clean, professional finish to the whole fence. Even a small deviation can become very noticeable in a long fence run. With this method, you also reduce the stress of constant measuring, since you can spot any misalignment just by looking at the guideline. As progress continued, the transformation became more and more visible. The structure began to take shape, and the property felt more private, enclosed, and secure. A fence like this clearly defines the perimeter, enhances security, and dramatically improves curb appeal. In this installation, we also left space for a gate, which will be featured in a separate video. The gate not only provides convenient access, but also adds a visual finish to the overall design. With the fence now fully installed, the property has gained in both functionality and appearance. The privacy provided by a well-built fence greatly improves the quality of life for those living on the property. Whether it's for kids, pets, or simply enjoying the outdoors in peace, this type of upgrade adds immediate value. It also increases resale potential and helps define boundaries more clearly, giving the space a sense of order, calm, and enjoyment. Thanks for watching this complete episode of Frank's Handyman. If you enjoyed this full-length video from start to finish, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We post practical and professional content regularly. See you on the next project.